slowly, we're gonna make our way into child's pose. So easy transition. Drawing those abs in. Just kind of wiggling those sit bones to over those heels. And if you can rest the forehead on the mat, do. If not, no worries. Another option is you can stack fists on top of one another. But in this pose, just letting go from the day, know that the hardest part of class was walking through that door. So simply breathing in and breathing out. And traditional yoga breathing is done in through the nose and out through the nose. However, breathe the way that's most comfortable for you. So as we hold our first resting pose, we're going to take a moment to set your intention for tonight's practice. Remembering to listen to your body, not being afraid to challenge it, but also causing no harm. Using a strap, a block, a chair, move alongside a wall. But it is your journey. It's not mine and nor your neighbor's. So trying to be intentional, mindful, and present. So from here, we're going to slowly walk those fingertips a little further forward and just separate those hands. Separate those fingertips. Pressing the pointer fingertips and the thumbs. Those are your L fingers. And then the little finger. Then we're going to slowly tuck your toes under. And we're just going to go easy, lifting up to downward facing dog. Easy transition. Lifting your sit bones up. Rolling your shoulders back. Releasing your heels just to feel the stretch, not touching the mat. Again, easy. Then we're going to come forward into plank. We're going to come down to our knees and then walk your hands underneath your shoulders. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. Toes are tucked under. Bend your elbows and look forward. Now pull your abs in. Feel the engagement of your core. We're going to lift right arm, left leg off the mat for spinal balance, reaching fingertips and toes in opposite directions. And then return back to tabletop. Inhale, left arm, right leg. So soften the right elbow. Reach. Extend. Pull your abs in. Now drop the right hip slightly. We tend to roll into your left. We're going to come back to tabletop. Now we're going to pull the belly in, round and flex your spine to come to our first cat. Eyes are open. Take a look at your knees, maybe your thighs. And then we're going to drop your belly. We're going to roll your shoulders and let your tummy hang as you lift your sit bones and your chest to the ceiling. Eyes are open and look up. We're going to come back in a cat. Pull your belly button in, round and flex your spine. Make way to that cat pose. And then back in a cow. Letting your belly go. And then make your way into a neutral tabletop position. Here, toes are tucked under. We're going to pause for a moment as you press your feet back. A chance to just stretch the fascia. Bend your elbows. Scoop those abs under, bring your knees barely come off the mat to clear. So you're nice and low, hovering tabletop. Now look forward. So you feel the engagement of your core. We're going to hold this for 3 more. And then from here, we're going to slowly lift up to downward facing dog. So easy transition. Not worrying about whether your heels touch the mat. Just start to feel the stretch along the bottom of your feet into your Achilles, calf, and hamstrings. We're going to come back to hovering tabletop. So bring those shoulders over your wrists. Bend your elbows, look forward. Toes are tucked under. And hold here for 5. Draw your shoulders back. Pull the belly button in for 4. 3 more. Remember to breathe and smile. 2 more. And 1. We're going to come back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to walk those hands back to join your feet. Your feet are about hip level apart where your toes pointed forward and your heels behind you. And let your head just hang and take a look behind you. So we're going to shake your head yes and no. And then we're going to bend your knees and heel circle sweep up. Palms and fingertips together, reaching to the ceiling. Thumbs at heart center. We're going to bend your knees and your hips. Here's forward fold. Pause for a moment. And then heel circle sweep up. Thumbs at heart center. We're going to bend your knees and your hips. Fingertips come down to the mat, so just scoop to stay low. Then inhale, circle, sweep back up. Hands at heart center. We're going to bend your knees and hips once more. We're going to pause here. So we're going to shake your head yes and no. So your neck is free to just hang. And then bend your knees, inhale, circle, sweep up. We're going to sit back in a chair. So drop the weight in the balls of your feet, wiggle your toes. So shift the weight back more into the balls of your feet. Knees behind your toes, and now reach your fingertips to the ceiling or to the front of the room. So arms are long, that helps elevate that heart rate. Now take your knees and track more towards the second and third toes. that engages all of those quads. We're gonna shift forward slightly. Stand now, rooting the four corners of both feet. So your big toes, the little toes, and we're gonna press up to tall mountain. So use your legs to press up. Tuck your tailbone under, eyes are open, and take a reach through your fingertips to the ceiling. Take a look at the ceiling, perhaps slightly in front of you or over you, maybe even behind you. And sit back in the chair. So again, shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. Sink down, roll your shoulders back, heads above your heart, hearts above your tailbone. Think about what your knees are tracking. Sink back a little bit deeper. Challenge this chair for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna root all four corners of your feet and then press up. Tuck your tailbone under, with or without a back bend, meaning we're gonna press that pelvis forward. Check that pelvic tilt by squeeze your butt cheeks. Then we're gonna sit back in the chair. So drop the weight back in the balls of your feet, stick your bum out, lower yourself down in that chair. Imagine I've come behind you and simply sink down. Now think of where your knees are tracking, wiggle your toes. Pull your belly button in and we're gonna shift forward. Hands at heart center, we're gonna bring your thumbs at heart center, press your palms together, forearms are parallel at the mat. So engage your chest. Press your right and your left towards one another. Now shift forward and lift your heels off the mat. Just start to engage your calf muscles, pull your belly button in, and just sink back a little bit deeper, but try to draw those shoulders back. We tend to start to lean forward. Bring your shoulders back over your hips. Just straighten your spine a bit, holding for 5 here, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna release your heels and come to forward fold. So bring your fingertips down to the mat. Perhaps grab opposite elbows or even bring your hands into your shins. I'm gonna shake your head yes, and shake your head no. And then we're gonna sit back in a chair, shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. Roll your shoulder blades back down. Look to the ceiling. Again, your choice where your gaze is, but keep your head looking up so you don't round that upper back. Wiggling your toes, think about your knees are tracking. So really engage those leg muscles. We have just 5 to go for this chair. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna slowly press up. Use your legs with or without a back bend, but tuck your pelvis under. Squeeze your glutes. Reach. And then we're gonna swan dive all the way down. So reach your fingertips out to your sides and then down. Bend your knees only when you need to. We're gonna take a look forward and walk those hands forward and make our way to our first plank. So starfish hands. Your legs are long and just the back of the toes are touching the mat and press your feet back. Now take your elbows and tuck them under you. Soften them, look forward, scoop your abs in. Press your feet back to really engage through those quads. We tend to here start to let your hips sink. So keep them up relatively higher, but not into a downward facing dog. Now press those feet back. Elbows are tucked in. We're gonna look forward. We're gonna hold here for 5 and 4. Feel free to come down to your knees or thighs. It's a level 1 option. For 2 and 1, we'll lift up to downward facing dog. Starfish hands. So try not to have those fingertips creep towards one another. They tend to. Really separate those hands. Think about your L fingers and the little fingers. And then just draw your shoulder blades down your spine. Just roll your shoulders back. Pull those abs in. Pull your knees back and release your heels to really feel that stretch. We start to kind of sink into our knees. That's the easy variation. Draw your knees back, challenge this. Then we're gonna come forward to plank. So we're gonna shift the weight more in upper body. Elbows are tucked under, press your feet back and look forward. You're not necessarily looking straight to the front of the room, but find a gaze point. We're gonna hold for 5, where I want you to scoop your abs in here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna come down to our knees. Elbows are tucked and we're lower straight down 4-point staff. So squeeze your elbows in, this is our check. Here, your elbows should be tucked in. You're not doing a push-up. If not, you're gonna reposition your hands a little bit closer together. Using your knees or not, we're gonna come back to downward facing dog. So 1 more, we're gonna come forward to plank. Look forward, pull your shoulder blades back, press your feet back. Your choice to come to your knees. We're gonna come to 4-point steps, so lower straight down. Squeeze those elbows and use your triceps, and then press back to downward facing dog. Then we're gonna come forward to plank. You're gonna use your toes to shift yourself forward slightly. We're gonna come down to our knees, and now lowering the lower rib cage near your thumbs. Roll your shoulders back, here's your cobra. Elbows are tucked under. On the top of your feet, or keep your toes tucked under, doesn't matter. And then come back to downward facing dog. Use your knees, or not for your transition. We're gonna flow, we're gonna come forward to plank. Shift forward, come to your knees if you want. Here's your chaturanga. Through to cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog, starfish hands, we're gonna pull your shoulder blades back and releasing your heels towards the mat to feel the stretch. We're gonna keep focus on your left. So draw your left knee back, feeling the stretch along your left Achilles, calf, hamstrings, and step your right foot back. So it doesn't matter where your right foot is. It's off the mat. You're reaching towards the back room, maybe towards the ceiling. But you're still feeling that left knee pulled back, that stretch along your left leg. Elevating the right leg, all it does is bring a bit of heat, warmth to that hip. We're gonna bring your right foot back to join your left. So pull both knees back, really feeling the stretch. We're gonna come forward to plank. Looking forward, we're gonna shift forward. Here's your chaturanga, squeeze your elbows in. So you're gonna bring your lower rib cage over your thumbs, cobra, and then back to down facing dog. We're gonna draw your right heel back, feeling that right stretch, and step your left foot back. So you're not shifting forward, you're not accommodating. You're letting the right leg feel the stretch, and the left leg is simply to bring some heat. Pressing your left shoulder down so you're not rotating through that upper body, and then bring your left foot to join your right. We're gonna come forward to plank, and then we're gonna come straight down to 4-point step. So straight down, we're gonna bring your big toes together, make your way back into child's pose, so drop your tailbone back, then tuck your toes under, coming back to down facing dog. We're gonna come forward to plank, find your plank, draw your feet back, elbows are tucked under, lowering yourself straight on a 4-point step, straight down, big toes together, and back into child's pose. Feel free to come into this resting pose whenever you like. We're gonna tuck those toes under, come back to down facing dog. Once more, we're gonna come forward to plank. And then lower straight on 4-point step, squeeze those elbows in. Big toes together, back into child's pose. Again, staying here for as long as you like. Feel free to come here. We're gonna tuck those toes under, come back to down facing dog. Forward to plank. And your choice is to stay here. We're gonna do a slight drop. The drop is really subtle. Elbows are tucked in, so your elbows are facing behind you, slight drop. We're gonna come back to plank, and then back to down facing dog. Once more, we're gonna come forward to plank, and then do a slight drop. Come back to plank, and then back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back for 3-legged dog. So focusing, not the height of the right leg, but the left leg. Pull your left knee back. Really feeling that good stretch. Then, we're gonna bring the right knee in towards your forehead, forward and towards. So you're gonna take that spine like a cat for that crunch. And then step back to 3-legged dog. And then bring the right foot to join your left. So releasing both heels, feeling the stretch, and step your left foot back. So keeping your right knee pulled back, really stretching out the lower body. We're gonna bring your left knee in towards your forehead, forward and towards your knees. So you're gonna pull the belly in, run and flex your spine like a cat. And then step back to 3-legged dog. Pull your right knee back. And then bring your left foot to join your right. We're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. So travel to the back of your mat. Here's forward fold. Take a look behind you. And then sit back in a chair. So shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. Again, we're just getting the body to move. Head's above your heart. It doesn't have to be a low chair, but you wanna keep the head above your heart above your tailbone. So your choice for your chair. We want to track those knees towards your middle toe, second, third toe. You're together, we're going to press up to tall mountain, with or without a back bend. And then we're going to swan dive all the way down. So hinging through your knees, bend your knees only, hinging through your hips, bend your knees only when you want to. Take a look forward, we're going to walk your hands forward, make your way to plank, starfish hands, and then we're going to shift forward. And then here's your chaturanga, through to cobra or up dog, and then back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. Option is to stay here, 3-legged dog, or now bend that right knee and bring the right heel towards that left hip. You're still pressing your right shoulder down. You just get some rotation. Again, just to build a little bit extra heat. Half scorpion or 3-legged dog. And take a look forward at your hands. We're gonna step your right foot through. So one or many steps. So listen to your body, strength, balance, and flexibility. Both sets of toes are facing forward. We're gonna roll our shoulders back and look forward. Now press your left foot back. We tend to start to sink into your left knee. Then, we're gonna slowly sweep your arms back and then forward. So draw your shoulders over your hips to find that lunge. Now your choice is to come down to your left knee. We wanna keep ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Right knee must retract towards the second or third toe and trying to have the arms high to keep the heart rate elevated, or feel free to bring your hands in heart center. Scoop your abs in. Now we're gonna slowly cartwheel those hands either side of your right foot and step back to down facing dog. You can choose to stay here. We're gonna flow it. We're gonna come forward to plank. Shift forward. Here's your chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows in. Cobra or up dog. And back to down facing dog. we're gonna draw the right heel back. So we're gonna feel the stretch along your right leg and step your left foot back. Pressing your left shoulder down. Option is to stay here or bend your left knee and bring the left heel over towards your right hip. So start to rotate through that hip. You're pressing your left shoulder down. And then we're gonna slowly take a look forward at your hands. Step your left foot through. Here's lower lunge, so one step. Both sets toes are facing forward and roll your shoulders back. Now finding just the back of your right toes and press that foot back. So you're really engaging through your hip. Feel free to come to your knee. You're either on your knee or you're off. There's no halfway. Then swing your arms back and up to get momentum, bring your shoulders over your hips. You'll let the groin stretch happen. Arms are elevated or hands at heart center, but trying to bring ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. We tend to start to kind of lean forward and let your shoulders come more forward. You shortened the groin muscle. We want to keep it long to feel the stretch. And take a look and see your left big toe. If not, we're going to reposition it. Draw your right leg back. Here, abs engaged. We're going to hold for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to cartwheel those hands to either side of your left foot and step back to down facing dog. We're going to take your right hand and reach towards the outside of your left foot, touching your nut, and then bring the right hand back. I'm going to take your left hand and reach towards the outside of your right foot, touching your nut, and come back to down facing dog. We're going to step the right foot back, and or half scorpion, 3-legged dog, or half scorpion, your choice. And then bring the right knee in towards your forehead, pull your belly button in, and then we're going to step back. And then bring the right knee towards your right elbow. You're going to bring your shoulders forward, and here's your level 4 plank. Look forward. We're going to step back to 3-legged dog, and then take a look forward. We're going to step your right foot through. Here's lower lunge. Both sets toes facing forward, sweep your arms back and up, come to high lunge. So draw your shoulders back. Now we're going to draw your elbows out to your sides to open up your chest. So here you're going to chance to stretch your sternum out. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and draw your elbows out towards your sides. You don't have to touch. You can be as open as you want. Take a look, see your right big toe. If not, you're going to reposition. Draw your left leg back. Bring your hands at heart center. Fingers up towards the ceiling. We're going to cartwheel those hands and step back to down facing dog. We're going to step the left foot back, so pull your right knee back. And or half scorpion, your choice. We're going to draw your left knee towards your forehead. Take the body into a crunch. And step back to 3-legged dog. You can choose to stay here, bring your left knee towards your left elbow. Shoulders come forward, you're in a level 4 plank, look forward. And then kick back to 3-legged dog. And then take a look forward. We're going to step your left foot through, here's lower lunge. And sweep your arms back and up. Come to high lunge. Feel free to come to that right knee, but feel the groin stretch. Again, don't sink into your knee, come down or draw your right leg back. Arms are high, bring your shoulders back. Reach, commit. Heart center or hands are high. And then we draw your elbows out to your sides. So we're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together and just open up your chest. Stretch the anterior shoulders. Now let's draw your right leg back. We tend to start to sink into the knee. We're going to bring your ears back a bit. And might as well draw it in. Pull your belly button in. 5 to go here. 4. And bring hands at heart center. And then bring your fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're going to cartwheel those hands and step back and down facing dog. Here, we're going to take your right hand and reach towards the outside of your left foot, touching your knot, that's important. And come back and down facing dog. Left hand is going to reach towards the outside of your right foot. And then back and down facing dog. We're going to step the right foot back for 3-legged dog. Bring the right knee in towards your forehead. Pull your belly button in. Hold for a moment. And then step back. Right knee, right elbow, shoulder, tricep. Bring your shoulders forward and look forward. Feel free to come to your left knee. And then we're going to kick back. Now we're going to bring your right knee towards your left shoulder, elbow, tricep. Look forward. Here's your crunch. Pull your belly button in. Look forward. Kick back to 3-legged dog. And then step the right foot through. So one or many steps. Listen to your flexibility. Balance, flip, exit, and sweep up to high lunge. Find that high lunge position. Bring your elbows out to your sides, open up your chest. Think about where your right knee is tracking. Feel the groin stretch. Feel free to come to your left knee. Then together, we're going to come down to your left knee, but keep those toes tucked under. So we're going to come down. Together in one movement, we're going to come off your left knee and reach your fingertips to the ceiling. So we're going to come up. And then we're going to slowly draw your elbows back out to your sides. We're going to bring that knee to hover, so come nice and low and just hover. If you want to tag and come up, so just kind of feel how low you are. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to sweep back up, high lunge. We're going to palms together and cross your right thumb over your left. And then we're gonna come on the tips of your left toes and reach forward. Now pull your shoulder blades back and draw your left leg back. So extend that left knee. We start to kind of sink into your left knee. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands out either side of that right foot. Now lower yourself, so drop yourself down and bring your left hand flat on the mat so your left thumb is touching the inside of your right foot. So you're nice and tight. Now take your right hand out to your neighbor and start to bring your right hand to the ceiling for that twist. Look at your right hand. Feel free to come to your left knee. Draw your left leg back. Reach your right hand high. Holding for 5. And then we're going to slowly bring your right hand back to mat. So coming out of that twisting lunge. Repositioning both hands to setting, and we'll come back to down facing dog. Options to stay here. We're going to flow once. We're going to come forward to plank. Shift forward. Here's your chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows in. Here's cobra. And then back to down facing dog. We're going to step the left foot back. So pull your right knee back. Feeling a stretch along your right leg. Half scorpion is always an option. You're going to bring your left knee towards your forehead. Pause for a moment. And then step back. Left knee, left elbow, shoulder, tricep. Now look forward. And then we're going to kick back. Left knee, right elbow, shoulder, tricep. Look forward. Feel free to come to your knee, right knee. And then we're going to kick back, three-legged dog. And then we're going to step your left foot through. Find that lower lunge. And sweep those arms back and up. Come to high lunge. Draw your shoulders back. Draw your right leg back. Think where your left knee is tracking. Reach your arms high. And then draw your elbows out to your sides. Open up your chest. Try to bring your shoulders back a bit. And then together we're going to come down to your right knee. So keep those toes tucked under. We're going to press your foot back. So you're going to feel this engagement of your quads and a little bit more of a groin stretch. And in one movement, we're going to come off the right knee and extend your hands up. So coming up. And then we're going to bring it elbows out to your sides. And then we're going to bring that right knee to hover. So if you need to, tag the mat and then bounce off a little bit. Holding that hover, we're going to bring your shoulders back for 5. Pull your abs in for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come up. We're going to bring your palms together and cross your left thumb over your right. Then we're going to come the tips of your right toes and reach forward. Trying though not to rest on that left thigh. Pull your shoulder blades back. Pull your abs in. And you're going to bring your hands down at either side of that left foot. So bring your right hand right alongside your left foot so the right thumb is touching your left. Then take your left hand out to your neighbor and then add the twist. Feel free to come to that right knee. We're going to reach your left fingertips up. So just open through the chest. Pull the belly in. Twisting lunge for 5. And then we're going to slowly bring your left hand back to the mat. So you're going to re-square yourself and come back to down facing dog. You can choose to stay here. We're going to come forward to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chaturanga. Through to cobra. And then back to down facing dog. From here, we're going to come up with the balls of your feet. And we're going to bring your knees to hover. So we're going to look forward. Knees are right over the mat and look forward. You're not in hovering tabletop because your hands are more forward. We're going to come back to down facing dog. Now we're going to come with the balls of your feet. We're going to bend your knees and look forward. Your choice is to walk or jump your feet forward to forward fold towards the top of your mat. So your choice, forward fold near the top of your mat. Pull your knees back, hands resting on the mat. Opposite elbows, hands on your shins, but we're going to take a look behind you because there's a space between your legs. And then we're going to walk those hands up. Making your way up into mountain. Roll your shoulders back, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Weight equally on your right foot and left foot. Take your tailbone under. Here, we're going to turn over your right shoulder. We're going to be near the top of your mat and near the center. Then, we're going to slowly, arms overhead. We're going to take your right foot and reach and step out. Turn your toes out slightly. Hands at heart center. And then we're going to drop the tailbone down to kind of come to bird squat. So you need to reposition your feet, but you want your knees tracking towards your third toe. You're not into a chair. You're not sitting down to a chair, but you're dropping your tailbone down. Your gaze is over your thumbs. Put your belly button in. Then we're going to slowly press up. Reach your fingertips to the ceiling. We're going to separate your hands. Legs are going to stay straight. And take your fingertips to your right, your left. Palms are facing up. Fingertips and thumbs are together and your hands are flat. Roll your shoulders back. Then you're going to add the squat. So sit down. It's not a chair. You're sitting down. Drop the tailbone down. Think about where your knees are going. Tuck your tailbone under. Reach to your right, your left. Then we're going to slowly extend upper and lower body. We're going to come up. Palms and fingertips together. Hands at heart center, sitting down that prayer squat. Inhale, we're gonna come up. Fingertips to your right, your left with a squat for Sun Goddess. Inhale, coming up. Prayer squat on your breath out. Inhale, coming up. Fingertips to your right, your left here, Sun Goddess. We're gonna hold here for 5. So roll your shoulders back, reach your fingertips to the front and back of the room, fingertips and thumbs together. Just turn those knees out slightly. Roll your shoulders back, pull your abs in. We're gonna slowly press up. We're gonna turn your toes to point towards the new front of the room. Take your fingertips to your right, your left, palms are facing down. And then we're gonna lift your sit bones up and just come into forward fold with a straddle. So try to take your hands and grab the outside of your feet. Maybe grabbing those calves. But here we're gonna let your head hang and take a look what's happening behind you. Lifting your sit bones up. Pull the belly button in. Trying to press the left foot completely flat as well as the right. And really trying to root the left little toe and the right little toe. We start to come in. We're gonna let the outside of your foot lift off, grounding each foot equally. And then we're gonna slowly walk your hands towards your right foot, having your left fingertips face your right foot. If you want, you come down to your palm, your forearm, and then take your right hand out to your neighbor, and then reach up for your straddle twist. Reach your right hand up high. Try not to sink into your knees, but lift your sit bones up. The straddle forward fold with a twist. We're slowly gonna bring the right hand back down. Walk both hands towards your left foot. Right fingertips facing the side of your left foot, bringing the palm down, maybe your forearm. Pull your knees back and take your left hand out to your neighbor, and then take it up to the ceiling to reach up. Pull your knees back, feeling the stretch. We're gonna do this twice more through. The first time it starts to kind of warm it up. Then we're gonna slowly bring your left hand back to the mat. We're gonna walk both hands towards your right foot. Left fingertips facing forward, facing that right foot. Reach your right hand to your neighbor and then up. Draw your knees back, lifting your sit bones, lifting the right shoulder. Your choice is to stay here, or turn that right hand, bend your elbow and take the right hand and grab the outside of your left waist. We're gonna roll that right shoulder back. Lift your sit bones up, pull the belly button in. 5 here. And then just take your right hand back to the ceiling. And then bring the right hand back down. We're gonna walk both hands towards your left foot. Fingertips facing that left foot. Take your left hand out to your neighbor. And then lifting up to the ceiling. Lifting your left hand high, lift your left shoulder up. And then here, option is to turn that left hand, bend your elbow and have the back of the hand find that right waist, but let that left shoulder roll back. Holding here for 5. And then slowly take your left hand back into the ceiling. And then we're gonna bring that left hand back down. Now we're gonna bring both hands underneath both shoulders. We're gonna do that once more through, but just in a moment. Then we're gonna pull your belly button and take your fingertips to reach out to your right, your left, hands are off the mat. Now core, we're gonna slowly bring yourself up. And then hands at heart center. We're gonna turn those toes back so they're tracking more towards the corner of your mat. Your knees are gonna track towards your third toes and sit down in a prayer squat. So sink down to your hips, press your palms together. And hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna slowly press up. Bring your fingertips to your right, your left, sitting down in that Sun Goddess. Roll your shoulders back, arms are long. Fingertips and thumbs together, palms are flat. Let your knees tuck under. Holding for 5 more. Roll your shoulders back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're slowly press up. Hands at heart center. We're going to come into squat on your breath. Inhale, coming up. Exhale to Sun Goddess and your breath out. So moving with the breath. Inhale, coming up. Prayer squat. We're going to come back a bit lower, deeper, challenging it. Inhale, coming up. Sun Goddess, again coming a bit deeper, challenging it. Inhale, coming up. We're going to turn those toes pointed forward. Fingertips to your right, your left, and come back to straddle forward fold. Rooting the 4 corners of both feet. Grabbing the outside of your feet if you can. And just take a look behind you. Lifting your sit bones up. And then we're going to walk your hands. We're going to start this time. We're going to go to the left. So walk your right hand towards your left foot. Take your left hand out to your neighbor and come into that twist. Last time through. Option is to add that half bind. Lifting your sit bones up. Breathing. Try not to sink into your knees, but lifting your sit bones up. Lift that left shoulder up. So challenge this twist. Half binds, we're gonna come back to full expression. You bring your left hand back to the mat. Then walk both hands towards your right foot. Left toes right alongside that right foot. Take your right hand out to your neighbor. Lift your sit bones up, pull your knees back, and then add that twist. Turn that right hand, bend your elbow. Take your left hand and wrap it around and grab that left back for that half bind if you like. Roll the right shoulder back. Rooting the four corners of your feet. Lift your sit bones up, pull your belly button in. Challenging it here, 4 more. Breathing, being present. And then the half binds, we're gonna come back to full expression of that pose. And then bring that right hand back outside your right foot. Take your left hand outside that left foot. And just holding that forward fold straddle. Just 3 here. And then slowly take your fingertips out off the mat, reaching out to your right, your left. And then use your core to bring yourself up. We're gonna step the right foot to join your left, arms overhead. Squeeze your inner thighs together and stay where you are and sit back in a chair. So squeeze your inner thighs together and sitting back down in a chair. So shift the weight back in the balls of your feet, heads above your heart. Bring your hands at heart center. You're gonna drop your elbows to your thighs. So shift your weight back more in the balls of your feet, sinking down. Elbows will stay on your thighs. We're gonna start to lift your sit bones up. So coming in a forward fold, but your elbows are on your thighs. Pull your knees back. And then shift your weight, wiggling your toes, shift the weight back in the balls of your feet and sitting back down in that chair position. Keep your knees, keep your elbows on your thighs. Drop your tailbone. And then we're gonna bring your elbows off your thighs and reach your fingertips forward to counterbalance you. Now sink down, squeeze your thighs together. Holding for 5. Your hands are reaching forward, your sit bones are reaching back. You're counterbalancing, so you're trying not to fall. Staying low, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to press up to tall mountain. Use your legs with or without a back bend, but tuck your tailbone under. Listen to your back. Then we're going to come into mountain. We're going to turn and face the front of the room. We're going to walk your feet hip level apart, rooting equally in your right and left, and then shift the weight onto your left foot and bring your right foot off the mat. Just take it, center yourself, and then readjust, bring the right foot off the mat. Now readjust, accommodate. Pull your left knee back. Holding here for 5. And then bring your right foot back down. And then shift over to your right foot, pull your right knee back. Use your shoulders, abs pulled in, then bring your left foot off the mat. Just take a moment to find that balance. Again, readjust. We tend to have difference from side to side, even in balance. And then we're gonna come back in a mountain. Weight equally right, left. Bring arms overhead, palms facing one another, but there's no bind. Fingertips reaching high to the ceiling, but pull your shoulders down. Pull your left knee back to your standing leg. And then we're gonna bring the right foot off the mat and try to bring it up 90 degrees or so. Arms overhead. Then from here, we're gonna kick your right foot forward. We're trying to bring the right leg up high, pressing through the bottom of the foot. Pull your left knee back, your standing leg is strong. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way back to mountain. So take a moment to readjust, reset, rebalance, and then arms come overhead. Pull the right knee back, and step your left foot up 90 degrees or so. So having that strong leg. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and then when you're ready, kick your left foot forward with the bottom of the foot. Pull your right knee back. Holding here for 5. Back to mountain. So your choice is to stay there. Otherwise, we're going to change directions. So we're going to come into mountain, shift over to your left side, arms come up overhead, and then bring your right foot off the mat. Take a moment to readjust. If you come out of it, feel free to join us wherever you feel comfortable. Now here we're going to kick the right foot forward. We're going to point your toes, and then you're going to kick your right foot behind you and hinging through your hips and come into warrior 3. Now drop the right hip slightly. Kick your right leg high, parallel out the mat. We tend to start to sink into your left hip. trying to avoid that. You reach your right hand leg a little higher. We're going to use your glutes. 5 here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to start back in that 90-degree angle. So bring the right foot back under. Hands at our center. And then back in a mountain. So find your mountain. Equally right, left. Arms come overhead. Your standing leg is strong. We're going to bring your left foot off the mat 90 degrees. Pull those abs in. And then we're going to kick your left foot forward. Through the bottom of the foot, pull your right knee back. We're going to point those toes. You can choose to stay here or start to change direction. So hinging through your hips, reach your fingertips forward. Kick your left toes behind you, trying to bring your left leg parallel with the mat. And squeeze your glutes. Drop the left hip slightly. Pull your abs in. And hold for 5. Come on, kick your left leg a little higher for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go back to that starting position, 90 degrees. And then back into mountain. Hands up and center, back into mountain. Inhale, circle, sweep up. We're going to hinge all the way down for forward fold. Hands on the mat. And we're going to jump back to plank. So we're going to find that plank pose, whatever it looks like for you. And we're going to come down to your right knee, put your right foot behind you, kneeling side plank, open to your left. Take a moment to stack your hips and shoulders. And rather than just pressing inside of your left foot, I want you to press the complete left foot flat. So you're going to just roll that left knee back a little bit. Then we're going to bring your left foot off the mat. Try to bring your left leg a little higher to really engage your hip. We're going to point your left toes and take your left hand to reach towards the front of the room as your left toes are reaching towards the back. Again, we tend to let the left foot sink down. Bring it up. You're going to bring your left elbow and left knee to meet. Pull the abs in. We're going to hold here, this crunch here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your left toes behind you, left fingertips forward, and reach in opposite directions. We're going to kick the left leg a little higher. And then we're going to make our way back into plank. So we position back into plank. And we're going to come down to your left knee, put your left foot behind you, kneeling side plank, open to your right. So take a moment to stack your hips and shoulders and really root the 4 corners of that right foot, not just the inside of the foot. Then we're going to lift the right foot off the mat. Come on, press your foot back towards the back wall. You're going to point your toes and try to bring your right leg a little higher to bring some extra heat there. And then take your right fingertips forward. We start to let that right leg sink down. Come on, bring it up, focusing on engaging your hip. Then we're going to bring your right elbow and right knee to meet in the center. Come on, hold here. Pull your abs in for 5. And then we're going to make your way back into that. Reaching fingertips forward, right toes back. Come on, bring the right leg up. We touch it slowly to sink it down. Bring it up. And we're going to make our way back to plank. So find that plank pose. Elbows are tucked under. And we're going to come back down to your right knee, kneeling side plank, opening to your left. And then we're going to bring your left foot on the mat a little further away there it was. We're going to take your right hand to reach towards the front of the room. Right hand to the ceiling and left hand's going to come behind your left leg. Tuck your tailbone under and reach in opposite directions. Right fingertips up, left hand down. You can take your right hand and reach maybe a little bit more towards the back wall. All that does is a little bit more of a lateral flexion stretch. Try not to sink into your shoulders. And then we're going to bring your right hand back down the mat. Kneeling side plank. Now your choice is to stay here, or we're going to bring your left foot to the mat and place the right foot inside your left. So you're going to come up into side plank off that right knee. Your choice. If you're in that position, try not to sink into your right knee, but lift your left hip up. So your choice, kneeling side plank, with or without a balance, or side plank. 5 to go. And then we're going to slowly make our way back to plank pose. So find that plank. And then we're going to come down to your left knee, kneeling side plank, opening to your right. Take a moment to just set up that kneeling side plank. And then bring the right foot off the mat. And then we're going to place your right foot a little further away there where it wasn't coming to gate post. So take your left hand to forward, up to the ceiling, and bring your right hand behind you. You'll pull your right knee back. Tuck your tailbone under. Reach your fingertips in opposite directions. With an option, take your left hand a little bit slightly past midline. Stretch the left side a bit more. And then we're going to slowly bring your left hand down, fingertips facing forward under your shoulder. And stack. Your choice is to stay here with or without a balance, or now place your right foot to the mat and place your left foot inside that. So side plank. Either pose, we're not trying to sink into your left hip, but lift your right hip up. Balancing side plank, kneeling side plank, with a balance, your choice. And then we're gonna slowly come back in a plank pose and make our way back to downward facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back for three-legged dog. And then bring the right foot forward for lower lunge. We're gonna flip your left foot and reach your fingertips up. And then we're gonna come into warrior two. So we're gonna bring your hands on your hips for a moment and straighten your right leg. So we wanna tuck your tailbone up under, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Pull your abs in. Then bring your fingertips. Arms are long, fingertips reaching towards the front and back of the room, palms are facing down to start. Then through your shoulders, we're gonna turn so your palms are facing up. Just rotate through your shoulders. Gaze is gonna look over your right hand, and now take your right knee into a lunge, tracking towards that second or third toe. The lunge comes through the knee rather than through the torso. Pull your left knee back. Then we're gonna slowly reach forward with your right hand. Bring the right arm inside your thigh. Take a moment to reach in opposite directions for hot angle. Try not to sink into your left knee. Then you take your right hand forward and flip up for reverse warrior. Left hand comes behind your left thigh. We're gonna straighten your right leg for a moment and then take it back into a lunge. Just check your lunge position. Right hand can go further, a little bit more towards the back wall if you like. And then we're gonna carve with those hands either side of your right foot. Turn those left toes forward. So make your way to lower lunge. So you're gonna square yourself and then step back to down facing dog. You can stay here. We're gonna flow forward into your chaturanga. That's an option. We'll meet you in downward facing dog. So your choice. And then back to downward facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back. And step your left foot forward for lower lunge. Flipping that right foot. Swinging those hands forward and up. Make your way to warrior two, hands on your hips. We're gonna straighten your right leg. Just a check. Tuck your tailbone under. Ears over shoulders. Arms are long, palms facing down. You're just reaching towards your left, your front, your right, back of the room. Turn so palms are facing up and gaze is gonna look over your left hand. Now, we think we've got warrior two. I want you to pull your abs in, engage your core. Pull your right knee back. Then, moving only through the knee, take your left leg into lunge position, meaning you keep the shoulder over your hip. We're not leaning, reaching forward through the arms. How are those abs? How's the right little toe? Rooting that. You should be able to see your left big toe because your knee is tracking towards the second and third toe. Then we're gonna reach forward. Bring the long arm inside your thigh and stack your shoulders and reach in opposite directions. So you're gonna feel the stretch from your sternum, your breastbone out, opening your chest. Gaze is gonna look up and pull your right knee back. Engage your core. From hot angle, we're gonna bring the right arm behind you, take your left hand forward and sweep it up for reverse warrior. Bring the right hand down behind that right leg. We're gonna take your left leg out of a lunge and come back into a lunge. Left hand can go slightly past midline if you like. And then we're gonna carve with those hands to either side of that left foot, both sets toes facing forward, and step back to down facing dog. Option is to stay here. We're gonna flow. We're gonna come forward to plank, shifting forward. Use your chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, and then back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. Option is to stay here. Half scorpion is an option. You can stay here. Or Terry's favorite pose, we're gonna let your right leg come over your body and find the mat to your left, the floor to your left. So right leg's gonna reach over, find the floor. You're gonna turn those toes to the same direction. So both sets of toes facing the back of the room, and then lift your pelvis up. So you step back into that back bend. Reach your right hand to the front of the room or to the ceiling, but lift your hips up. Reach to your chest. And you're gonna slowly make your way back out. Downward facing dog. And then we're gonna step your left foot back. You can stay here, half scorpion is an option. Or now bring your left leg across your back and find the floor to your right. Turn those toes so they're both facing the back of the room. Lift your pelvis and your chest up. And reach your left hand to the ceiling or towards the front of the room. Try not to sink into your hips, but lift up. Five to go. And then we're gonna slowly bring your hand back down, make your way back to downward facing dog. And then from here, we're gonna come down to our knees and make our way back into child's pose. So finding your child's. free to rest, lift your hips up high, look forward. Elbows are tucked under. Remember, the longest minute of your life is always a plank minute, but we're not gonna do it for a minute just yet. We are together. We're gonna bring your knees down for the tag, the touch, and then we're gonna come back. Once more, we're gonna bring your knees down for the tag, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna come down to right elbow forearm followed by your left. So bent elbow plank. We're gonna look forward. Your choice is to stay here or bring your knees down for the tag, the touch, and come back. Holding here for 5. Abs pulled in. Feel free to come into child's pose. Join us when you want. 4 more. 3, look forward, pull your belly button in. The count is not rational, it's random. 2, and 1, we're gonna bring your knees down for the tag, the touch, and come back. Walk onto right elbow, forearm, follow back up. High plank. We're gonna come down to right knee for kneeling side plank, or stack your feet together for side plank. Your choice, we've been here already. With or without a balance, your choice. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way back to plank. So listen to your body for the transition, setting up both hands, both feet. Feel free to come to your knees, feel free to rest. Come down to your left knee, kneeling side plank, open to your right. Or stack your feet together for side plank. With or without a balance, your choice. 5 to go. And then we're gonna make our way back to plank. Find your plank. Use your toes. We're gonna shift yourself forward. So we're gonna just come forward slowly. Elbows are bent. Look forward. 5 here. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna come back to center for 5. 4, lift your hips up, try not to sink. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go slowly to your left. 5 to go here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center. 5 here. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go slowly to the right for 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center for 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to downward facing dog. Roll your shoulders back. Wherever in your breath cycle, we're gonna let the breath out. And together, we're gonna take one big breath in here, and then letting your breath out. Come to rest for a moment. Because then we're gonna come down to our knees and walk your hands back. Tabletop. Find your tabletop. And then when you're ready, we're gonna bring your knees off the mat. Hovering. You're gonna look forward. This is often disguised as a lot more core. Knees are barely off the mat. We're gonna hold for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna come back to down facing dog. So draw your knees back, roll your shoulder blades back. Come back to hovering tabletop, so shoulders over your wrists, knees are right off the mat. If you want to, bring your knees to the mat and then bounce off. Holding that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to down facing dog. Staying here, coming into child's pose where you like. We're gonna come back to hovering tabletop. Now you can choose to stay here, hovering tabletop. Right hand off the mat, take your left shoulder. Back to hovering tabletop. Left hand's gonna take your right shoulder. Back to hovering tabletop, you're done. Down to your knees and back into child's pose. So make your way back into child's pose. That was longer than a minute. So make it back to child's pose. Put your belly button in. And then we're gonna slowly, we're gonna come flat on your mat. So you're gonna reach your fingertips out. You're gonna rest on your chin and bring your legs out behind you. So your arms are shoulder width apart and your legs are hip level apart, meaning you're not gonna bring your legs together like a mermaid. Now, you're resting. Let's pull those abs in. Because you're letting your belly button kind of go for a rest. Pull your abs in. Feel the engagement of your core, and now rest. Now rest. You feel that difference? So you're not just sucking your belly button. I want you to scoop all of those abs in. Holding that. Then when you're ready, you're gonna bring right arm, left leg off the mat, or both arms, both legs off the mat for Superman. So you're gonna bring your chest off the mat. Right arm, left leg, or both. You're gonna bring more of your thighs off the mat, maybe one more rib off the mat. And pull your abs in because you let your abs go. Keep the corset of your core. Just 3 here. 2 and 1. We're gonna come down for a rest. Rest, meaning you're gonna let your belly button go. So we're gonna do that once more. If you did right arm, left leg, we're gonna switch and do left arm, right leg. Listen to your back. Reaching fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Arms are shoulder width apart, legs are hip level apart, meaning we're not no mermaid legs. When you're ready, left arm, right leg, or both arms, both legs. Now trying to bring more of your thighs off the mat, one more rib off the mat. Pull your abs in. Come on, focus in now. You're holding this pose in Superman. Pull your abs in. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna slowly come down. Now you just worked your back. So you're gonna bring your hands underneath your shoulders. This is really important because you just worked your back. Pull your belly button in. Let your core help transition. So bring yourself up slowly and then back into child's pose to stretch your back. If you just use your back for the transition, you just fatigued it in Superman. So listen to your body in that transition. And then when you're ready, we're gonna roll ourselves over onto our backs. So we're gonna come lay on our backs, having your strap close by. Knees in, hands down to your sides. With your head and spine resting on the mat, we're gonna press your feet up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna try to bring the balls of your feet over your hips. And you're not just holding here. This is great to do at the end of your day, especially if you stand a lot or sit a lot. But I want you to press the ceiling off the foundation of the wall, meaning you're not just holding your legs here, you're pressing them. You're feeling that active stretch. This is called staff pose. Not to be confused with favorite among many, a 4-point staff. And then we're gonna bring your knees back into your chest, reach around. And we're gonna let your left leg come down onto the mat to rest. We're gonna take your strap, even if you don't think you need it, and wrap it around the bottom of your right foot. Both ends of the strap are gonna go in your right hand, and you wanna always be pressing the right foot into your strap. Now feeling the stretch. Trying to draw that right leg straight. If you want, take your left hand and place it onto your thigh above your knee, not into your knee joint, to help just ensure that your right leg is relatively straight to feel the stretch. You're not worried about where you're going, you're just feeling that stretch. Pressing that foot into your strap. Then we're going to take your left hand out to your neighbor, palm is facing up, anchor that left shoulder. And then both ends of the strap, bring your right hand, take your right foot out to your right side. Pressing your foot into your strap, not worrying about how low you're going. And then take your gaze when you're ready and look at your left hand. Press that foot into your strap. Pull those abs in. And then we're gonna slowly bring that right foot back up. We're gonna let that strap go, let your foot escape, and pull that knee into your chest. Now we're gonna take it to a twist. So pull your belly button in. Take your right hand out now to your neighbor. Palm is facing up, rooting that right shoulder. And your left hand is gonna help guide the right knee over to your right side. Not worrying about how much that right leg comes over. You can draw the right knee more towards that left shoulder. We'll change where you feel the stretch, maybe further away. But we're trying to keep the right shoulder relatively anchored, or at least rooting towards the mat. You can bring it off a bit to go deeper and then trying to press it. So you're going to counterbalance that stretch. Scoop those abs in. And then we're going to slowly bring that knee back into center. We're going to reach around and help guide it, pull it into your chest. And then we're going to bring your left to join your right. And then bring the right leg down. Take your strap and place it around the bottom of your left foot. Again, you're pressing your foot into your strap at all times. Both ends of the strap go into your left hand. So your right leg is on the mat straight. And just trying to feel that hamstring stretch. You take your right hand, if you like, and place it above your knee on your thigh. Right hand to your neighbor, palm is facing up. And then with both ends of the strap in your left hand, let your left foot guide over to your left side. You're going to take your gaze and look at your right hand the opposite way where your left foot's going. Pressing that foot into your strap though. escape. We're gonna pull the knee into your chest. And then take your left hand out to your neighbor. We're gonna take your right hand and help guide the left knee over. Pull those abs in. Again, you play with where that left knee is going, more towards that right shoulder, maybe further away. Both knees in towards your armpit to escape your rib cage. And then we're going to bring both knees together. We're going to roll over to the side and come up to a seated position. So in seated position, we're going to come into a straddle. You're going to stretch out your back, believe it or not. We're going to come into straddle. And then bring the right foot inside your left thigh. Now you're going to turn your body and take a look at your left foot. We're going to hinge your hips and walk your hands down either side of that left foot. Spine is long. Pull your belly button in. So yes, we have some hamstring stretch, but we're going to add the QL stretch. We're going to take your right hand and cross over your left leg and trying to grab along the outside of your left calf or the bottom of that left foot. So you're going to add that quadratus lumborum. It's that lateral spinal muscles. Trying to keep your left knee on the mat, left toes reaching the ceiling. Again, anywhere along the calf. And just breathe. We're slowly going to come up. We're going to switch. So straighten your right leg. Bring the left foot inside your right leg. Turn your torso so you're looking over your right. Because it sets your pelvis, and then walk those hands down. Then we take your left hand and cross over the right leg and grab along the outside of that calf, the foot, the ankle, the foot. And just feel the stretch. Breathing. Both feet together, and then from here we're going to pull your abs in and we're going to roll ourselves onto our backs, just letting your spine just release. And for the final time, we're going to bring both knees into your chest. You can choose to stay here. You can bring knees out to your shoulders to escape your rib cage. You can rock and roll a bit, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then when you're ready, you're going to transition to Shavasana. Laying on your back flat, if that's uncomfortable for you, you can bend your knees, or you can roll over onto one side. But taking these next few minutes, to truly just surrender, relax, connect. Surrounds you, encircles you. slowly, when you're ready, begin to allow the breath to bring you back to the presence of your mat. And then open your eyes. And then when you're ready, make your way up to a seated position.